huge biological risk associated with the occupation of this laboratory. Let's just listen in to a statement by the World Health Organization's representative in Sudan on the situation.
The main referral central public health lab, and there is, high risk of biological hazards because in that lab we have polio isolate, we have measles isolates, as well as cholera isolates. So with the electricity shut down and with no technician taking care of all these, the risk of biological hazard is high in Khartoum because of the occupations of the lab by one of the fighting parties. It is not really necessary to say which party.
Next question, who has occupied this lab? Is it the Sudanese armed forces or the rapid support forces? No one knows. And the WHO has not named any side in particular. However, medical officials in Sudan say that it has been taken over by the RSF. Due to the ongoing conflict and the inability to access details from on the ground, these claims could not be verified. What we can tell you for sure, though, is that an exodus is underway in Sudan. People are fleeing to neighboring countries like Chad and South Sudan. The UN Refugee Agency is saying thousands had already fled the violence and that it was bracing for up to 270,000 more people to flee.
So in South Sudan, the planning figure that we have for the most likely scenario is 125,000 returns of South Sudanese refugees into South Sudan and 45,000 refugees. We think the returns, in fact, we know the returns will take place earlier. They are mostly from Khartoum, and the refugee flows are likely to be afterwards. Our most likely scenario is a situation where you would have one of the part of the conflict controlling Khartoum, more or less, and the other part really basically going back into Darfur with possible destabilization of Darfur and other southern states inside Sudan.
And what about the foreign nationals? Last we checked, thousands of them were stranded in Sudan. And this includes not just the common man, but also expats and aid workers. They are being evacuated by their respective governments. Saudi Arabia carried out one of the first reported evacuations on Saturday. So did America with a special forces operation over the weekend, as did Britain. Its armed forces evacuated diplomatic staff and dependents from Khartoum on Sunday. And what about India? Some 3,000 Indians live and work in Sudan. That was the number before the crisis. And New Delhi launched Operation Kaveri to bring all of them back. Last we checked, over 500 of them had been evacuated. More flights are scheduled in the days ahead. 2 Indian Air Force planes have been stationed in Jeddah. These are not just any planes, they are the C-130J Super Hercules. Now here's the thing. The Sudan evacuation has once again brought into focus the particular challenges that India faces in any conflict. There are about 14 million non-resident Indians and more than 7 million tourists and travelers from India each year. So there is practically no conflict today that does not affect an Indian citizen. And what's worse, a lot of them work in the most dangerous environments. Examples being students in Ukraine, nurses in Iraq or Yemen, or laborers in Libya, Syria, and Lebanon. And this makes the responsibility of the government to help those without the means to return to safety even greater. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.